All right. So the next question is, Elena or Roger, have either one of you been on the financial side of planning a funeral?
No, I have
No?
not.
And Roger? No.
No.
Well, no problem. Funerals nowadays, especially like a traditional funeral, they start average around $14,000.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know about you guys, but most of the families that we sit down with don't have $14,000 laying around for a funeral.
Mhm.
And a lot of families like yourself, they do have life insurance. However, life insurance doesn't always work the same way it used to.
Mhm.
It used to work, you go into a funeral home and sit down with the director and give them that um, policy, and they'd hold it as collateral until the policy was paid out. It
Mhm.
doesn't work like that
Right.
anymore because insurance companies used to have to pay out within 24 days. Now they can hold on to that policy for as long as 60 to 90 days. Do you know why that is?
No.
That's because of the interest, the millions and millions of dollars they make on the interest holding the policy.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. So that leaves you or other families holding the bag for the financial burden of that funeral. Well, there's also another predicament going around where there's a company out of Texas called SCI and another company out of Canada called Alderwood Group. And they're actually going around, they're buying up all of these funeral homes and these cemeteries. And the philosophy behind it is they want to be the monopoly or the Walmart of the funeral industry.
Mhm.
So the reason why this is important to you is because their corporate policy is having to pay for that funeral up front anywhere from 50 to 100%. And again, that leaves you burdened with the cost of that funeral.
Right.
Most families, that $14,000 funeral, they don't have that money laying around. And the ones that do need that for the expenses that come afterwards.
Right.
So what we came up with is something that's really cool. It's called our freedom of choice. And this right here, this is a certificate that you can bring to any funeral home in the United States,
Mhm.
and they'll accept it. Actually, they love it because it's backed by big, strong, and powerful unions just like yours.
Oh.
And they know they're going to get paid. So it's really simple. So let's say you wanted that traditional funeral with the flowers and the casket, the calling hours, and the gravesite burial. Let's say it was $14,000. Now this is
Mhm.
simple right here. All you do is you put the amount of the funeral, you put the 14,000, you fill out the arrangements, and then you date it, sign it, and it's that simple.
Oh.
Now what's going to happen next is the funeral director is going to walk out, and when they come back in, they're going to call this number right here on the front. What they'll do is they're going to call us and ask us two questions. One, do
Mhm.
they have the policy?
Okay.
That's not going to be a problem because we can get you enrolled by the time I leave here tonight.
Right.
The next thing they're going to ask is, well, how much do you have to work with?
Yeah.
But we're never going to disclose that amount. You shouldn't either. If I was to tell them that you had a policy for $30,000, what do you think that funeral is magically going to cost?
30,000.
$30,000. It shouldn't work that way, and we don't allow it to. So what we do is we write a check for them for that, say $14,000, and that remaining 16 would go to your beneficiary, go to your kids. All right, it's the cleanest, simplest, most compassionate way to deal with what's going to happen to all of us. So again, both of you have that freedom of choice that we went over, that $30,000.
Mhm.
Now, this freedom of choice certificate kind of works like a prepaid funeral.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of a prepaid funeral?
Yeah.
Well, they're great. The concept behind them is everything's paid for, but the downside with it is you're typically tied to a funeral home. You're paying up to $100 a month. You don't get out of it what you put in. This right here, this is a blank check for $30,000 for you, Elena. As long as Roger, you keep her funeral under $30,000, and Elena, blank check for Roger for $30,000. As long as you keep his funeral under $30,000.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
See why this is important?
Yeah.
Okay, great.